All right, next one from Amelia. The guy I like never lets me pay for anything. Not coffee, not meals. He won't even take my gas money. I always feel bad like I'm practically robbing him. I always tell him that, and he says he doesn't mind. Am I being crazy? Also, what's your opinion on the idea that men should be paying for everything? I disagree, clearly.
Who doesn't mind that they're always being robbed? Like, what?
Here's a way of looking at this. Like, I think early on when you're dating, there is a bit of an expectation that, actually, you know what? It's really changed.
It's an old school thing.
It is a pretty
It's
old
not
school
anymore,
thing that
yeah.
a guy will pay for a first date, right? Maybe you'll still see that a little bit if a guy's trying to be particularly charming or something. But I think a lot of women would prefer to feel like it's a more equitable thing. Clearly, Amelia does. I would say the bigger red flag to me wouldn't be him paying for everything. It would be if he felt like you owed him something because he was paying for everything. So it's one thing if just like one person in a relationship has a lot of money and maybe more than the other person, and they're willing to, they don't mind covering some, you know, some expenses the other person wouldn't maybe normally be willing to cover. And if it's just coffee or going out for a meal, I don't see that as a huge deal as long as you're comfortable with it.
Yeah,
But
and
if
as long
all-
as they're not making you feel bad for it
Exactly.
later.
Or feeling like you owe them something because they pay for all those sorts of things, right?
Yes.
Yeah. Is that a good take on it? Do you agree?
Yeah, I would agree. I think going back to before Ben, when I used to go on dates, it's the only reference point I have here. I would almost always offer to split it. And I think half the time the guy would usually just be like, no, I insist. And I basically like couldn't argue anymore because it was just like, I don't care.
But
I
like,
already gave my credit card.
You don't really want to argue on a
Exactly.
first date either.
And then the other half of guys would say like, sure, let's split it. And I always honestly felt better about the whole experience when he let me split it. I appreciate, just as anyone on either gender, because it really should not matter, especially today. I appreciate that the other person is offering to cover it, just as I had to in the past. But I think splitting it is just makes both parties feel good because you have the good sentiment of the other party wanting to treat you, but then you ultimately ended up equal, which is kind of like a win-win to me in my modern eyes.
To give it from a guy's perspective, if we're talking a more guy-girl relationship, sort of traditional dynamic.
Yeah, how do you feel?
If a girl is like super willing to let a guy pay for everything all the time, that's a bit of a red flag. Because even if you are willing to be the one to pay for everything, whether you're the man or woman or whoever in a relationship, you want to see the other person wanting to contribute. It's a bit of a red flag if the other person is willing to be taken care of all the time, I think, too.
Yeah.